Hello students, in this video I am discuss about the positive feedback system. So let's get started. To understand the positive feedback systems and take an example of the normal childbirth, parturitions or delivery. Okay, so this is the fetus, uterus and vagina. Okay, so after the 9th month or during the 9th month there is the first contraction. First contraction in the muscles in the walls of uterus. So what happened, the fetus move toward the cervix. Okay, so this is the cervix, and within the cervix there is some receptors are present. These receptors are the stretch sensitive nerve cell receptor. Okay, these receptors, the stretch sensitive nerve cell receptor, sense the stretching in the cervix. So these stretch sensitive nerve cell receptors send the information to the control center, means brain, through the nerve impulse, and then brain interpret these informations. That is the time of the delivery of the baby. So brain send the informations to the pituitary gland and pituitary gland send the informations to pituitary gland, release the oxytocin. Okay, so then pituitary gland release the oxytocin into the blood. Okay, so this is the blood, and release the oxytocin into this blood, and then oxytocin move toward the uterus through the blood. And then what happened, oxytocin do in the muscles in the walls of uterus in the forcefully contractions. Okay, what is the work of uterus in the muscles of the uterus? There is a work to forcefully contraction in the muscles in the walls of uterus. So what happened, cervix is stretched more. What happened, this is the cervix. Okay, and cervix is stretched more. Okay, cervix is stretch more, and then again stretch sensitive nerve cell receptors sends this information, sends the stretching in these cervixes, and then again send the information to the brain through the nerve impulses, and then brain again send the informations to the pituitary gland to release more oxytocin into the blood, and then oxytocin move toward the uterus. In the muscles in the walls of uterus there is a forcefully contraction again. So again cervix is more stretched. Again stretch sensitive nerve cell receptors sends this stretching in these cervixes, and then again send the information to the brain, and then again send the information to the pituitary gland to release more and more oxytocin into the blood, and then oxytocin move toward the or go toward the uterus, and then again forcefully contraction in the muscle. So what happens, cervix is again more stretch. Okay, again more stretch. So this process is continuously start. So that is the point, the cervix is more stretched and the fetus is move out through the vagina. The fetus is move out through this vagina, and that the time there is no fetus in this uterus, and so there is no sense the stretching in the cervix. Okay, so then stretch sensitive nerve cell receptor, there is no send the information to the brain, and then brain no send the informations to the pituitary gland, and there is a pituitary gland, there is a not release of oxytocin into the blood, and then their oxytocin not go toward the uterus, and there is a not do the forcefully contraction in the muscles, so what happened, the process is stop. So this is the positive feedback system. Okay, so again discuss the positive feedback system. Okay, so what is the positive feedback system? Is that tends to strengthen or reinforce a change in one of the body's control conditions. Whatever the body's control condition, there is a change or reinforce. Okay, so I'm taking an example of the normal childbirth or delivery or parturitions to understand the positive feedback system. Okay, so what is the stimulus? Stimulus is the first contraction of the label, means the contraction in the muscles of the contraction of the walls of the uterus force the baby's head or bodies into the cervixes. Okay, so in the uterus, there is a wall, there is a first contraction. Okay, next it increases the control conditions. So what is the control conditions? Control conditions means the stretching of the cervixes. Control conditions means that the stretching of the cervixes, and then there is a these stretches in the cervixes, there is a stretching happens. So the sense, there are some receptors are present to sense the stretching. So there are stretch sensitive nerve cells in the cervixes. These are receptors to sense the stretching in the cervixes. Okay, so then receptor send the informations to the control center, means the brain, and then brain interpret this information and release the more oxytocin. What is the oxytocin? Oxytocin is a hormone and it's released from the pituitary gland. Okay, so again and then send the information and the oxytocin move toward the effector. What is the effector? In the previous video I am discussed about the effector is organs and the tissues behave like an effectors. Okay, so in these conditions the effectors is the muscles in the walls of uterus. Okay, so this is the uterus, and this uterus there are muscles are present. So in these muscles, these are these effector. Okay, and oxytocin act on these muscles. Okay, so what happened, the muscles and then oxytocin contract more forcefully and responds the baby's body stretches the cervix more. The baby's body stretches the cervix more, and then effect are the muscles in the walls of the uterus thus send the informations again to the control conditions. What is this information? Increasing the stretching of the cervix. Again, increasing the stretching of the cervix causes release more oxytocin, and which result in more stretching of the cervixes. Okay, so, and then what is the time to stop this process? So there is a time. So interruption of the cycles means the birth of the baby, decrease the birth of the baby. So that a time the baby move out through this vagina. So move out from the uterus through the vagina. So decreases the stretching of the cervixes and thus breaking the positive feedback system. Okay, so that is for the positive feedback systems. I hope to understand all these concepts. So thank you so much.